All right, and the last big comic book film of the year was Captain America.
A massive clash here.
We're actually sat quite well, because me and Sean are on one side of the room and Harvey's on the other.
I'm on a separate sofa from the others.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it represents how we felt about Captain America.
I can't express my love for the film enough.
Go on then.
I watched it, as I
Give it
said,
a go.
we went over it briefly last
How
time.
many times have you seen it?
Only twice. I've been intending to go back, I haven't got round to it, but I might go after we finish,
I've seen
actually.
it 3 times.
Oh, you've outnumbered me. I'm definitely
Oh,
going
bitch.
after this then. I mean, I watched it back to back. I loved it. I loved the pulpiness of it. I loved the... Joe Johnston, the director, obviously, he worked on the Indiana Jones films and Star Wars films, and you could feel it. It had a real classic adventure feel to it. Loved it. And Harvey's shaking his head.
I'm not shaking my head. I
loved the guy who played Howard Stark.
I thought all
I
the
liked
casting
that.
was
That was
fantastic.
good. I liked Howard Stark. I hated how slow it was. Actually, the
Chris Evans.
acting was alright. The acting was good, actually. I absolutely hated the forced love.
I thought that was the most natural love story in
It
any of the
wasn't,
Marvel
though.
films.
And when at the end, when they're in the car and and he's about to jump onto the whatever it was, the plane thing,
Yeah.
the red skulls on, and she kisses him, and it's just, that's so cliche. It felt the whole thing. I know to a certain extent it was supposed to be cliche.
Yeah, I
know
think that's
it
what
was
they were
supposed to
going
be
for, yeah.
America, America, America. But again, I felt like I was watching a recruitment video.
See, it's funny because I found the American parts of it were a lot, not toned down, but less overpowering than I thought they were going to be.
I thought even the theme tune.
See, you didn't like the musical number, did you? The 1940s
No, I
musical
hated
number.
it.
What did you think, Sean?
It's-
I loved
it's
that.
It's the 1940s. That's how it was back then.
I loved the actual song. I've actually downloaded the
If
song.
they
I
did
loved
it,
the
if,
song.
if they did it in like the Avengers film where it's set in this time period and they did that, I would be like, no, go die.
Yeah, I love the
Fucking
idea
fine.
of they made this superhero and then they couldn't send him to war, so he just become like a joke, and that's what played so well in it, I think.
I left the film feeling so sore and disappointed.
I felt refreshed.
Did you?
It was just fun. It was fun.
I thought it felt too long as well.
I thought it was too short. I'm sorry,
my
we're just going to
God.
disagree on everything.
It felt so long. It felt really... And again, I think I said this last time, it felt like they had to do a Captain America film to introduce people to the character before they made an Avengers film.
I do agree with that, but I also thought on the stuff that was linking into other films was possibly the most natural it had been in any of the Marvel films. Maybe not most subtle, because obviously it's quite obvious with Tony Stark's father, but it was all... It felt like it fitted. It wasn't put there for the sake of it.
I liked Tony Stark's father. I liked Howard Stark. I thought it was great that he was in it, and also I was glad that he wasn't just a cameo. He was actually a
lot more than I thought.
He was a supporting character.
And
And
he comes across really well. You could see him as Robert Downey Jr.'s
Yeah,
father.
you
They have the
can.
same character really nicely.
What was it, Dominic Cooper?
Yes, yeah.
He was very, very good. In fact, all the acting in it was very good. But it felt so slow, and it felt like...
I like how they portrayed Cap to be like, because he was still like he was just like a kid or something, wasn't he? And I still like, even though he's like this big, strong, muscly man now, inside he's still like a sort of kid. Like he didn't know how to talk to girls or anything like that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I thought was most interesting about the film, because in Captain America, most superhero films have like a character development, don't they? Start off with someone, maybe he's a bit cocky or whatever, and they learn over their powers to become the hero.
Yeah.
But the difference with Cap is he's a hero before, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's already the perfect sort of gentleman, whatever if you want.
They choose him, yeah.
And so you don't have that development. I wonder how they played that in the film, but I thought it was done really well, because instead they introduced this idea that maybe he's still a bit of a dork and a bit of a geek. He's still the gentleman, despite being the hulking mass and not,
Again, I thought the scenes when he was younger, or not younger, when he was
the scrawny sort of things.
guy. I think I said it last time. It just looked awful.
I thought they were really.
It looked good, but his voice was.
Hey Harvey, just because you can't have a deep voice, doesn't mean you can't have a deep voice.
Just because you look like Steve Rogers,
If I had a deep voice, it would be so out of place.
It would, I agree.
I know.
Exactly, and he
Little
looked.
people.
I was just like, "Is this a joke?"
Yeah.
Is it because his voice would suit him when he gets bigger and more muscly, but his voice didn't suit him at the beginning. He's a little fucking weed.
Yeah, I can go with that, maybe.
You should have a voice more like mine.
I thought the actual effects to make him look scrawny, I thought they were really well done. Fantastic,
They were well done.
actually.
They were well done. He looked great.
But I thought Chris Evans as well excelled himself.
Yeah, he was good.
For a guy known as normally being the comic relief in films.
Yeah.
Well,
like in Fantastic
I'd say
Four.
he was good. I just think he was all right.
Really?
Yeah.
I loved him as Captain
I didn't think
America.
he wasn't terrific. Also, as I say, with the love with him and whatever her name was. What's her name?
Peggy Carter, Hayley Atwell.
Yeah, couldn't have done without that. Especially as there was already an established relationship with him and his friend. There was like 2 relationships, and you only need one of them. You know, it's pretty tragic that his friend died, and that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool, and I liked that, and I thought the relationship between him and his friend was good. I just felt like they had to put in the interest.
I mean, I don't know if, again, we'll go back to comics.
Yeah,
obviously, I don't know how familiar you are.
Know.
So obviously, both of those characters end up playing big roles in the future Cap once he's unfrozen in different ways.
Yeah.
Bucky becomes Captain America at some point.
Well, Bucky becomes a Winter Soldier in the modern comics, and then becomes Captain America at one point. Yeah,
that's why I really love on the train when he gets the Captain America shield.
Yeah,
I only noticed I think it was like the second time I watched it. I was just like, ah!
Yeah. And also, Captain America's love interest in the future is Peggy Carter's niece, Sharon Carter. There's a weird interplay between like you were in love with my aunt and stuff. But so I think that maybe that's why they introduced those two. And there's a bit of like discussion about maybe the Shield agent, the nurse at the end, might have been possibly Sharon Carter. Peggy's niece.
I didn't notice
because they looked fairly similar, didn't they? Yeah.
I was expecting like that Shield agent to be like Black Widow or something like that.
That was this actually going on to the end. That was my biggest problem with the film, actually.
What?
No, that wasn't my biggest problem. I've got my biggest problem.
They changed the ending was changed to fit on the Avengers teaser at the end. Originally, the film, as there was the scene with the kids, wasn't there, playing as Captain America in the streets.
Yeah.
That was the original ending to the film.
Yeah.
And then the bits in the future were the after credits teaser.
Yeah.
But once they decided they wanted to put the Avengers on, they moved that to before, and it changed the pacing to me.
I think that could have made a very good start to the movie. Like the start of the movie was him waking up, and then
no, because I do agree with you in a way, but part of the bit was I think a lot of people still weren't aware of the idea that he's getting unfrozen.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's quite a nice surprise. I know most people going like for maybe our subculture knew that he's going to get unfrozen, but your average film viewer going to watch comic books doesn't know he's going to live through it. Maybe they thought the first Avenger is because he inspired, maybe rather than actually coming back. I thought.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea if it fades out on those kids playing in the street, then come to that, I would have been fine. But it just felt it took away that ending where like you saw Captain America as the inspiration to all these young kids, sort of thing.
Yeah, my favourite character out of all these like Marvel movies wasn't in it. Agent Coulson. He wasn't in it. I was so annoyed by that.
But I mean, obviously we've been set in the past. I mean,
at the end, I thought I was expecting.
I assumed he was going to be one of the ones that would when they went up to Antarctica.
Yeah.
I assumed he was going to be one of the guys in the coats. Yeah.
Because he's like the head of the people that are going around searching for these people. Like he was in Mexico for Thor and
that's right. Yeah.
Taking care of Iron Man and stuff like that.
And I did like the Howling Commandos also in the war bit where obviously they had Nick Fury in the comics actually also was in the World War II and had his own group called the Howling Commandos, which were the guys he released from prison, Cap.
Okay.
And all those characters are real characters. You got Dum Dum Dugan and I'm forgetting the names now, which is terrible. Anyway, but all of those characters, they're developed characters from the comics. And I did wonder why if Nick Fury was going to be established as also having been there.
Right.
But they didn't go that way. But
yeah. I would have liked a Nick Fury cameo in that.
Yeah, it would have been quite nice, yeah.
I want to know what the hell happened to his eye. I'm not an old school comic guy, so
obviously I'm not sure if they've ever really established in the comics what happened to his eye officially.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he looked like a different person originally, didn't he? He was white originally, wasn't
he? Because obviously you've got two universes, well, multiple universes. There's two main universes in Marvel. There's 616, which is your classic Marvel. There's your Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
And the Ultimate Universe, when they did the Ultimate, which was their version of Avengers, each of those characters, the art style was done after a famous actor. So the idea was the comic was a book. Was a film, sorry. And the one they cast, so to speak, was
Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson, yeah. And tell that he's a massive Marvel fan, and it all worked out well, yeah.
I think they're basing all of the characters for the Avengers movie. They're basing it more on the.
They've stolen a lot from the Ultimates, I think. Yeah, it's such a more modern telling.
To look a lot more like the Ultimates universe. Like Thor's costume is identical to the one in the Thor.
I'm looking at you, Harvey, the king of special effects. What do you think of Red Skull?
Yeah, it was alright.
Alright, really?
Yeah, it looked okay.
I thought it was done really well.
It was makeup, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. To make him Red Skull, it could have looked so terrible and cheesy.
Yeah, it could have done. It could have been way worse.
And I love
Yeah,
the scenes early on in the film when they were obviously looking for the cosmic cube. You could see like the side of his mask and his face, like he had cuts and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really pick up on it properly the
I
first
picked up on
time.
it the first time, and then
No,
whenever he was like,
he got
sorting
punched
out
in
his
the
face.
eye.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was great when it was hanging off, and
Yeah.
you can almost feel some of the people around you being like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then when he peeled it off, just
And then,
fantastic.
I remember me and you, we